mean, I think when you're 3-11, obviously the fish rots at the head, and I feel like as leaders we haven't been standing up enough for this young group, and there's obviously a lot written about us as leaders, and it's time that we responded and start to set the standard for those younger boys to follow, and it was nice to get a bit of reward today.
Some real transparency there, wasn't it, from Zach Merritt after Essendon's 9-point victory over Sydney at the MCG. As we know, they've had a miserable season. They couldn't frank that win against St Kilda, disappointing loss to West Coast, and then their leaders, Hodgie, stood up, and from what Zach Merritt said there, they took real ownership during the week, and I thought of you straight away.
Yeah, well, I think when people hear they say leaders stand up, it doesn't necessarily mean get the ball, because I've looked through their last 5 games, and whenever they've lost, a Parish, a Merritt or a Shield have had the most touches on the ground. And the 2 games they won against St Kilda, well, Redmond was best on, and Hind as well, and then the win on the weekend, it was Hind and Heppel. So they've obviously found out that it's more to football being a leader than get the football itself, and whether that's going to a mid to shut them down at a stoppage, selfless running, pushing a kid into a better position than you to get it. But it's fair enough that he said that 3-11 they need to start to look at himself and change, but they've done that for one game. They need to continue that for the rest of the year to build on for next year. So it's so easy after a win that you can say these comments. What's happened next week when you're down by 20 and you haven't had much of the ball? Are you going to go back into that old system and try and chase kick, or are you going to stick to what you said this week, follow what you did, and play that real leaders team game?
So that was just in terms of raw numbers. I mean, that was Darcy Parish's lowest disposal tally. You have to go back to last year. And Zach Merritt's lowest since, I think, round 9. So that points to what you're saying. There was more substance in the performance, even if we're not, inflating the disposal tally.
And that's the thing, is sometimes if you're getting a lot of touches, sometimes that can be cheap touches. And unfortunately, our game today is spoken about by, he had 35, he had 40. They've just come off a good win that no one gave them a chance to win up in Sydney. And they both had, I think it was 21 and 24 or something like that. Merritt did kick 3 goals, so he was able to hit the scoreboard. But he's given opportunities to the Hind, and yes, Heppel stood up, but he's given opportunities and showing these other young kids around him that, yes, you can go and get the ball too. We trust you to go and take this club forward. So it may be a little bit late for their season, but it's great to find that they realise it's not all about getting the ball to be a good leader.
Yeah, it is too late for the season, but starting at the Gabba on Sunday against Brisbane, I mean, what chance they can really create something here now, or at least build something to take in the coming weeks into next year, which would be important?
Well, they got momentum. Yes, the loss to West Coast, look, they could have won that game. It was in the balance, and they fell short. Joshy Kennedy turned back the clock and kicked 5 or 6, I think. But they their last 3 weeks, they've played some decent football. And coming up here, they're probably looking at the Lions going, look, they're not going to respect us. They think that it's going to be an easy walk in the park. But there's no Rich, there's no Zorko, there's no Darcy Gardner. Can this midfield, who just spoke about being good leaders, can one of them go and shut down a Lockie Neal? And all of a sudden, the Lions could be on the back foot. So this is the thing, is when you got a little bit of momentum, the leaders are starting to look for other people before themselves. Who knows where this could take them? And yes, it is too late for this year, but it's a building block for next year. If they can show for the last 7 games of the season that this is about us as a team, and we're happy to do this and put others before ourselves. It's a good building block going into next year, because we've seen the football that they can play. Look, They made finals last year playing a good quality style of football. So we know that their best can match it with a lot of the teams in the top 8. It's just doing it on a consistent basis.